Welcome. We're live here at Upper Dublin High School on homecoming night for LaSalle College High School, where the Explorers lead the Father Judge Crusaders 35-0 at half. This is Bill Wasylenko, and I'm the guest host of the halftime show, and my guest is none other than Bob Long. I think it's about time we all know what Bob does really for a living besides telecasting LaSalle sports. So, Bob, what I'd like to know from you, first of all, is what are the current things that you're involved with regarding your media activities in addition to LaSalle sports?
Sure. First of all, I appreciate you interviewing me here. It's an honor. All the things that you do associated with LaSalle, just for me to be in your company is an honor. So I appreciate that first and foremost. Besides LaSalle, I do a lot of things in the play-by-play space. I do some things at the college level. I broadcast Drexel University's hockey team. They're an ACHA Division I hockey team. They'll play teams like Villanova and Temple, and in the last few years they've made trips down to Dallas, Texas by winning their conference and going to the national tournament there. That's a great program. I love Kyle Zoldi. He's actually a LaSalle College High School graduate and a player under Wally Muehlbrenner. He's now pursuing his talents and his interest from a coaching perspective. So I appreciate being associated with them. Swarthmore College basketball. I broadcast their team. They actually had a great run as well, went all the way to the national championship at the D3 level last year. So those are just a few of the things that I do from a play-by-play perspective. And then, I mean, you know me, I'm a diehard Penn State football fan. I'm a diehard Villanova basketball fan. And so we actually have weekly broadcasts, talk shows for Villanova basketball in the winter and Penn State in the fall that we're doing right now. We have a lot of fun with that. It keeps me going. I tell you what, I enjoy all these things in media. It does get busy at times, Bill, but it's all worth it. It's so much fun.
That's great. Well, Bob, when did this all start? Were you a little kid one day and you watched Dick Enberg or Bob Costas do some announcing and you got the bug then? What was sort of that seminal moment where you started to really think about this, even as a little kid, in terms of the sportscasting portion of things?
The way I think about it is I was always the guy on the teams that I played on that was always thinking about the next step or thinking in depth about something. A little anecdote I like to tell is I was an 11-year-old baseball player and we were playing in a tournament down in Florida, and there was a tiebreaker scenario where we were going to be the third team, the fourth team, or the fifth team. The fifth team was left out, and they said that you guys were the fifth team. So I looked up the tournament rule book. I tried to decipher what those rules were and where we should be. I realized, hey, we should actually be the third team, not the fifth team. And so I went to the tournament director, and this is an 11-year-old kid going to the tournament director. I told him that, and they said, all right, we see your point. We're going to think about it. And they actually saw our point and reassigned us the third seed. So I was always thinking about the next level of sports, at least as best I could. So when I was going into my college experience at Penn State, I had a decision to make. Do I pursue finance or do I pursue broadcast journalism? I made the decision to pursue finance. I still think it was the best decision at this point, but I said to myself, I have a dream and a goal, and I really enjoy doing this. I'm going to get involved on my own, teach myself the craft, and see where it goes. So that was the genesis of everything, but it comes from just a young kid that is just giddy about sports and still is to this day.
Yeah. Now, you're a class of '09 at LaSalle, and when you were at LaSalle, were you involved in any of the IT groups? Were you involved in WEXP? Was there anything there that sort of helped to foster that along a little bit?
No, I was not.
Really?
And that would be my thing to LaSalle students that are thinking about it right now, is do that. Get involved. Rob Johnson does a great job with that multimedia program, and the IT program is unbelievable at LaSalle. But this is all self-taught or things I learned in college, and I could have gotten more of a head start if I had started back at LaSalle.
Yeah. So you do have a real job in the finance world at a bank, and you supplement that thing with your passion for sports broadcasting. Do you see an end game that involved in your life that you may want to take this a step further? Have you thought about that at all?
Well, certainly. I mean, why not, right? That's the dream. The dream is to call college football games on CBS or college basketball games on Fox. That is the dream. What are the steps to get to that point? I don't know. I think that I have something, I say that modestly, but I think that I have the ability to do this at a high level. It's just so difficult. There's so many people that are talented that have grinded for so long and deserve it just as much as I do. So, yes, there's an end game there. I would love to do it, but as long as I'm calling LaSalle High School football, I'm good with that. And I'll say this, from a business perspective, there are some things that collaborate pretty well. I mean, I pick up the phone and I call a LaSalle College High School business owner. They may or may not be in a position to do something with their banking relationship, but they may know Bob Long. Take my phone call, or otherwise they may not. And so that's kind of the thought, is just the more and more I can get involved in the community, the more it's going to help me personally, professionally, the more people I'm going to get to meet, like yourself, like Tyler and Rob that I do this with. So end game, sure. I would love to have Brad Nessler's job or Vern Lundquist's job, but for the time being, this is so exciting. It's exactly what I want to be doing, and I'm glad that I'm doing it.
Well, you'll be combining both of those activities, both your finance activities as well as your broadcasting activities on Wednesday, October 16th, where the alumni mentor reception is going to have none other than Bob Long as their featured keynote speaker. So that's something I'm hoping that Bob is looking forward to, and he can basically do some of the things we're doing right now as a little test drive for what he's going to be doing on Wednesday, October 16th. You know, look up the LaSalle website to see whether you can sign up for that. It's at 6 o'clock. I think it's at the Glazier Center, and it certainly would be a great event to attend. So look for Bob to be that keynote speaker at the alumni mentor reception.
I wish I could say I'm used to public speaking. I don't know how this is going to go.
just as long as you got a microphone and headphones on your head, I think you'll do fine, Bob.
Yeah, I appreciate that. No, I'm very much looking forward to that opportunity to speak to the LaSalle community. And I'm still formulating exactly where I want to go with it, but it's going to be some combination of what I do for a living, the things I do for LaSalle High School, kind of blending those, being able to give at least my best option of words of wisdom as best I can to a really talented and impressive LaSalle community. I'm just honored to be there. I appreciate John Allison giving me the platform to do so, and yeah, expect some fireworks. It's going to be a good speech. I'm looking forward to being out there.
Well, I'm sure a lot of you people out there in television land really appreciate Bob's work, and through my email list I see people in Europe, people in California, people in other countries who respond to me as watching Bob do the play-by-play and bringing LaSalle home to them, even though they're thousands of miles away. So that's something all of us alums appreciate you doing, Bob.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the things you do as well. There are numbers, statistics, figures. I'm going to ask you here, LaSalle, I couldn't get through this interview without asking you a question. I'm sorry. LaSalle hasn't given up a point. What's the goose egg streak? How many years?
Of how many?
Years that LaSalle has gone with at least one shutout.
With at least one shutout.
Right? Remember you put that thing out there a couple years ago.
Yeah, I'd have to look that one up now. This isn't going to stick in my head. I do know some years where LaSalle has had 8 shutouts or 7 shutouts, so I can bring those up. But, you know, where have we had a season with no shutouts? I guess I'm going to look that up when I go home after I write my report on the game tonight.
There you go. Not to put you on the spot. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm blushing anyway. So, well, this has been a great time talking with Bob Long here at halftime of the game, where LaSalle leads Father Judge 35-0 at halftime on homecoming night here at Upper Dublin High School. So this is Bill Wasylenko, and I've been honored with being the guest host, and I hope you all enjoyed our interview with Bob Long at halftime.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Bill.
Okay.
You're the man.
Take care, Bob.